Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about 3 yoga poses you should not do at home. Number 1 is the one-legged, one-armed handstand with the twist. This is not a beginner's pose, and it's not advisable to try this one. So yeah, you want to try this one under strict supervision. Oh. And so now I'm going to go to the next one. Number 2 is the half triangle, transitioning into warrior 3. Okay, so this one here is the warrior 3. You want to get good lines on it, and then you can come out to the vertical version of it. Hey, just having some fun with you today. Obviously you're not going to try any of those yoga poses at home because we're in my special anti-gravity yoga studio here. I really wanted to talk to you about something that's just a little bit more serious, so if you come with me, I'll take you through a little series that I've been producing. Hey there, it's me again, Al Hall, and welcome back to the second video in our Bringing Systemic Intelligence into Your Yoga video series. As promised, in this video, we're going to get down and dirty, and I'm simply going to give you a handful of really powerful yet simple ways of immediately adding tangible benefits into any yoga practice you have right now without spending all that time, which may or may not affect your motivation. I mean, wouldn't you be more motivated to keep something consistent if you can accomplish it in less than the time that you usually need? I'm going to walk you through several key practices that you can use right away, and I'm going to share one particular yoga pose that you can implement today that helps you free up some energy, substantially reduces your chance of getting injured, but also will really help free up some areas of the body. This way, you'll experience the benefits firsthand from this one video alone. Sounds good? I thought it would be. More about the poses in a bit. Okay, if you haven't seen the first introductory video, I highly recommend you watch that first video. There's a little image above this video that will take you right to video 1. Okay, now in this video, I'm going to walk you through several pieces of systemic yoga intelligence which you can add to your daily practice, like proper body positioning, accessing of the deepest parts of your musculoskeletal system, exploring those poses, and a new level of engagement for effective and deep poses. This way, you will see more tangible results from your yoga practice. More about that later in this video. And if that wasn't enough, I'm also going to introduce you to the Systemic Intelligence Yoga Mechanism. So when you're ready to start to see the benefits with your chosen yoga discipline, you're armed with the single most effective way today to turn 20, 30, or even 10 minutes of your time into some of the most effective yoga sessions you've ever had. Let me be clear. Everything you're about to see, learn, and get in this video can be done at home with a few basic tools, or even in the office, which we absolutely recommend. Now, by this point, you'll understand the difference between regular yoga and yoga infused with systemic intelligence. Regular yoga is one you're already familiar with, whereas yoga imbued with systemic intelligence is intricate, and it raises your awareness and contains an emphasis on detail, precision, mindful practice, and alignment in the performance of yoga postures, combined with breath control, pranayama. The benefit, of course, is that you get to experience many times the benefits of regular yoga while doing it in half the time. So the question is, how does systemic intelligence actually work to give you up to 7 times more benefits than regular yoga can in less time, while preventing you from getting demotivated and avoiding a potential serious injury in the process? Do you want to know? Well, think of it like this. Your cells are talking to each other via fascia, neuropeptides, hormones, and immune cells. Fascia is the sheath outside your muscles and organs, compartmentalizing them. Think of it like the compartments of a suitcase, keeping your clothes separate from your hair products to your toiletries. Now, fascia has a crystalline structure, and if we're going to talk science, crystalline structures are well known to conduct energy. So what you feel in your feet, you'll definitely feel in your brain. In short, this sensation is all over your body. It is everywhere. In addition, when you align with the instruction and gain systemic intelligence, the musculoskeletal system is in its natural preferred structure. Not only are the muscles freer, but more importantly, nerves are given the space and freedom to efficiently transmit messages around the body. Imagine a tangled up water hose. With systemic intelligence applied, that hose becomes untangled and therefore pumps more water. This all adds up to an optimal state of being and function, just as nature intended, thus eliminating the risk of injuries as well as letting folks who are already injured have the awareness of how to honour their injury with yoga. With the typical yoga practice, absent of systemic intelligence, your chances of not getting injured or developing a nagging repetitive strain injury in the long run are slim, real slim. I remember after doing yoga for some years, that means I'm no newbie, I was not taking my own medicine, and a bit too much of vinyasa yoga gave me a repetitive strain injury, tendinosis in my shoulder. During one such class, I decided to keep up with the instructor and other students, but instead of giving myself the time to be aware of my shoulder, elbow and core positioning, I decided to duke it out with the whole class, and boy, they were flowing fast. I can see them getting their sweat on, and I really got carried away with all this fast-paced stuff. Heck, even a yogi of 15 years can get swept away in the fury of a fast-paced flow. Now, as a guy, especially I consider myself athletic, I didn't want to get left behind. I mean, the whole room full of women. That would be embarrassing. No offence, but it's just natural for a guy to hold his own when it's a physical contest, right? Wrong. Not listening to what my body and my gut is telling me, I continued to follow what they were doing, and then boom, karma came and bit me hard. Because as soon as I pushed myself to switch poses from chaturanga into downward dog, the inflammation in my shoulder created a sudden sharp pain, burning from in the front of my shoulders. That is when I learned about tendinitis and repetitive strain injuries just slowly compounding class after class. It took about 8 months to heal. If this kind of injury can happen to someone who's already experienced, imagine what it can do to vulnerable beginners with unconditioned, tight, injured bodies walking into a regular yoga class and getting beat up just to keep up. With that said, watch this next clip, and then in your yoga, sort of try and feel for yourself the difference of doing yoga imbued with systemic intelligence next time you practice. And if you're not practicing, you really want to carry on with the rest of these videos. You can see we have Sasha in the full half moon pose. This here requires a fair bit of hamstring flexibility and obviously a lot of leg strength. And realistically, 80% of you are not going to be able to do this with the correct energetic. So modifying it to get the correct energetic is really important, because trying to get into this, you can bust a hamstring or there's many different injuries you can do to yourself. So here we have Sasha in the same half moon pose, and we're using a block down here. So the body's up a little bit squarer. Can you see the beautiful lines through here? So if you've got tight hamstrings, you can actually get more benefit from doing it like this. You could even have your hand up on a chair, even if you've got restrictions. So you just really need to understand your own body. And here Sasha's practicing this one on a wall, so it's taking the balance aspect out of the pose as well, so you can build the strength in the legs, really feel the hamstrings, and you've got a little bit of a reference point for the shoulders on the back of the wall, the leg coming through here, the arms. Let's just turn some energy channels on here so you can see where all the energy is flowing. Okay, and now we move to a little bit more advanced version. It's off the wall. There's just a block, so now you're actually working on the ankle stability as well down here. So it's helpful, but as you move through poses, there's always some sort of prop that you can use to just help the energetics. So you can see how this works. If you practice along, did you feel it? It was good, right? Just how the energy can flow. It's definitely much better than doing some random poses on fast forward, but that's just the beginning, just the tip of the iceberg of how systemic intelligence works when applied. Let me give you another example. One of our long-time members, who is a certified yoga instructor, has used our brand of yoga to upskill herself through training. She tells us that her classes always love the extra alignment cues she is able to provide in class. Simply put, people report feeling the pose like never before. Poses that have been done repeatedly for 15 years suddenly take on new potency that just amazes students. Often with the exclamations of, wow, I've been doing yoga for 2 years and no one ever told me that. Now I can feel it working. Then they'll come to realize that they haven't been doing the pose to its full potential at all those years. How would you like to take on that surge of new-found potency just waiting to happen in your poses? I think it's great that you now have a way to bring some simple poses back to life, don't you think? I think so too. But we're taking a step further. We asked Claire Bhavani, the instructor, which pose people felt the most difference from. It seemed an impossible task, but the one that proved effective in teaching just that day was plank and side plank and the shoulder blades. The simple instructions to push the floor away with the hands and into the shoulder structure to hide the shoulder blades brought new power into the pose. All of a sudden, there was some learning and challenge again into an old favourite. Doing this on a regular basis, the plank pose, I'm sure you have seen it, plenty of gyms have borrowed it from the yoga systems, is a great step towards having a great tight midsection and firm arms and thighs, but done without systemic intelligence, simply it will not work for you. Can you see the difference in this pose on the left compared to the one on the right? The stomach sag and the shoulder blades popping out, it's just not going to help build a more refined front body and tight, strong arms and thighs. It is just going to create shoulder issues and back problems. Just thinking that you are doing the pose does not produce the benefits. How would you like to experience the same benefits as CLEAR students? Wouldn't that be great? But Al, my regular yoga makes me feel good anyway. Well, probably yes, all yoga can make us feel good. We don't doubt you on that. If you are doing yoga, lacking the knowledge of systemic intelligence, then over time, repeating the same movement, imbalances will build up in the body rather than being corrected. You won't feel good with shoulder tendinosis, a sore, inflamed, painful condition that will keep you off the mat, maybe even stop you from gardening, driving, cooking, and other things you love. And that's just one of the many things that can go wrong without proper training. We've also noticed that with all the vinyasas and the hot yoga craze, that many people are feeling depleted right after, and even several days after a class. If this happened to you, it means that you've worked way past your feel-good trigger point and into the land of burnout. Most people are burnt out these days already. Work, stress, family and commitments. That's why systemic intelligence yoga provides you with the greatest of options to nurture yourself in the way that you really need it on any given day. Does this mean it's easy? No way. Will it help you select the right class to feel good? Definitely. Feel good trigger points ahoy. You see, with yoga infused with systemic intelligence, you don't have to worry about that because the opposite occurs when repeating the same movement. Instead of imbalances, balance will begin to show. Instead of feeling depleted, you'll feel energized, refreshed, and on the go every single time, even if you only had a 10-minute short session. Pretty cool, right? How about another example? Here is a demonstration of a pose advancement with systemic intelligence. I suggest that if you're new to yoga that you watch this as it shows a systemic progression. I think you're going to be surprised at what the simple poses are building towards. Let's dive in. As you can see here in this clip from one of our trainings, that there is a natural progression that many poses take on, and that the way that you are accessing the energy channels. And of course, you would also work at your level, keeping in mind the direction that you are heading in your pose as you advance. There is always something that you can do at your level, but having an awareness of the previous building pose is important. Now, look, in the last few minutes, I showed you 3 ultra simple examples of how systemic and yoga intelligence uses awareness of yoga poses to more effectively give you your desired result. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you think that you can make good use of 10 minutes of your time each day if you had access even to the simple poses that are imbued with systemic intelligence? Do you think you can prevent injury and also prevent aggravating any existing ones? And how much motivation do you think you need if you can feel changes happening within your body all the while spending less time on achieving these? And it doesn't matter what time of the day you do this either. But again, we're just scratching the surface. There's so much more I still have to show you that you can apply right now to experience real and tangible results in your daily yoga practice. In fact, we're just talking about basic poses. We haven't even fully dived into the whole systemic intelligence. That's coming later. Let's talk a bit about how applying systemic intelligence can transform the way you look at yoga. Let me give you the complaints of clients we had before they came to discover this system. Here are some of them, and tell me if any of this is you. You don't have enough time to squeeze your yoga practice into your busy schedule. There's always work, family commitments, and other activities that you have to do, and we get that. That is why we've designed a systemic way to approach yoga, where you can experience the benefits even with just 10 minutes a day. You have an issue finding a routine class that fits your need for the day. you're having a hard time sticking to your desired schedule, what actually boils down to time and motivation. You don't have enough space. You can't get past the beginner stage, and you avoid group classes because everyone is so advanced. Believe me, you're not alone. Why else would we encourage you to try it at home? You think yoga interferes with the sport you love, which is understandable given the fact that doing regular yoga only compounds muscle soreness, which is not the case with our brand of yoga. Does any of this sound like you? Or how about this? You feel stiff. You seem to have some new bodily pain arising every day. There's at least an extra 5 kgs hanging around you, and you've realised that you were perfect in your 20s. Why can't you have that body back now? You're limited on time with so many work, hobby and family commitments. Life is stressing you out, and some days your body won't let you do things you used to love, like running, keeping up with your teenagers or household. With the insights of systemic intelligence, it can be hard to know where to start to feel like yourself again. So you may be mentally limping your way to one yoga class a week, if you're lucky. You have the belief that you need to do 90 minutes 4 times a week, and so in avoidance of another to-do thing on your list, you push this vital well-being practice to the side most of the time. You know you need it, so why isn't it happening? You'd love to be able to do a bit of yoga at home, but you're put off because you're scared you may hurt yourself without a teacher around to keep an eye on you. Sorry to break it to you, but your uber flexible newbie teacher with 20 people to keep an eye on simply may not have the awareness to keep an eye on you anyway, making training at home statistically a better option. With yoga infused with systemic intelligence, you can trust in the instruction. Even a beginner is in safe hands. Learning at home is a safe space where you can explore your own body with the help of our direction. And with a range of practices to suit any time of the day and any window of time, yoga just got so much easier. Isn't that what we all want? If you're like most people, it perfectly describes the way you are right now in your yoga journey. Speaking of which, let me share with you 3 usual results or outcomes that you can immediately expect once you discover how to apply this special style of yoga together with systemic intelligence. And as I share each one of these results, I want you to ask yourself, how much more effective would your practice be if you knew that these kind of results awaited you? Cool? Good. I also wanted you to remember that each result shared with you can be achieved in just a handful of minutes with some simple tools that you can freely fashion from items you already have around the house: books, belts and blankets. Now, with the usual outcomes, you'll develop strength and flexibility. I know it's a cliche, but we're going to revolutionize your thinking about yoga by understanding and experiencing the value of held developmental poses that get right into the essence of yoga, that make you strong and flexible. In the past, you may have thought that you needed to supplement your yoga with gym or running. With our style of yoga, you can learn that yoga really is all you need. It's the whole body wisdom in a nutshell. Imagine having both strength and flexibility in your arsenal. Wouldn't that be a good combination rather than just flexibility alone, which is what some other yoga styles are focusing on? Another outcome from such practice is developing an unbelievable control of your mind. This is by far the best and most significant outcome of the practice of yoga. Yoga calms the mind, and hence you have a better control of your mind. More specifically, your thoughts. And if you are able to control your thoughts, you are able to control your expressions, reactions, and many manifestations in your life. But the biggest factor in this instance is discipline and motivation. And we all know fully well that motivation is directly influenced by results gained over time spent. That's why our brand of yoga is focused on giving you significant results while spending half the time, so you can always have that motivation going for you. It's really a good thing, isn't it? And here's the best one. This type of yoga is geared towards people who are 30 and above. Heck, we even have one member who was already 68 years old. Although it's recommended for all ages, it was created to cater to the needs of folks who really are in need of the benefits of yoga. It's because we believe that yoga should be available to people from all walks of life. Don't you agree? And taking a look at these results, they're just a couple of what you'll experience with systemic intelligence in your yoga. You can easily expect to see a huge jump in your overall well-being. Now let's begin to wrap this video up. I don't want to overwhelm you with everything that can happen when you use systemic intelligence with our brand of yoga. I just wanted to whet your beak, so to speak, with some easy, fast ways of benefiting from some of the principles of systemic intelligence. There are so many additional pieces about the whole system, including what are the poses that takes advantage of the use of systemic intelligence. And that's exactly what we're going to do in our next video. I'm going to lay out for you the systemic yoga intelligence. So not only do you understand what it is, but also understand how it is infused in even the simplest of yoga poses. In the meantime, do me a favor and leave a comment below and tell me what you thought of this video. Tell me in the comments, how do you think this type of yoga can help in your daily life? Again, that's all for me, and I'll see you in the next video.